Hello, YouTube. The time has rolled around again to make yet another book review. Books review. Basically, for the past 2 or 3 months that I haven't been on YouTube, I read 2 books. So, yeah, I'm gonna review this. So, the first book that I read and finished was The Gunslinger by Stephen King. Where do I start with this book? Oh, man. God, I hate this book. This book. 3 out of 5 stars. I'd say that's sufficient rating for such a boring and non-moving book. It didn't flow. It introduced Rollins, the gunslinger, this guy who's facing his destiny, going across this desert that is going to lead to this big tower that's like a fixture in time and space. A fixture in time and space that links all the dimensions into one area. Yeah, 3 out of 5 stars, like I said. I'm standing by that because it was just a non-moving book. It introduced the characters, but it didn't move along. There's really only one main character besides the Man in Black, and that's the main antagonist, or antagonist. I wouldn't call him a huge antagonist, though, compared to what Ron faces later on. But, yeah, I really don't think that The Gunslinger is a great book. I think it's an okay way to start the whole Dark Tower series, to introduce you and get a feel of the books that are going to be coming up, but that's about it. A standalone book, it sucks. But as an introductory piece, hey, that's fine. I wish it would have been a little bit shorter. That way, I could have gotten onto the fun stuff earlier on. But I got to do what I got to do. Okay, so that's the gunslinger. He ends up. Okay, if you don't like the spoilers, or if you're not looking for spoilers, if you don't want to read this book, just stop the video right now, because this is going to be a spoiler. Yeah. So, basically, the gunslinger is, he's traveling along in the desert, and, he ends up finding a boy named Jake, last name, and this boy, he turns out to love him like a father and son relationship. And things are going great. They're moving along very fast, and he's taking care of the boy. And along the way, they're looking for water, all that stuff. And they eventually come very close to the Man in Black. And Rollin is facing a huge decision, and he chooses the tower over Jake, and Jake ends up dying. Yeah, it's pretty tough. So basically, the gunslinger, Rollins, he moves on to face the Man in Black. But really, he's not facing him. The Man in Black's Walter O'Dim. He's a sorcerer. He takes many faces, many names, all that stuff. He's got a lot of power, but he doesn't show a lot of his power. Like, aside from being psychic, whatever that crap is. But yeah, the Man in Black tells Rollins that he is going to be faced with death. He's going to be faced with 3 doors, which will lead into the next book in a second here. It'll lead to 3 doors that will lead into other dimensions. And these other dimensions will lead to 3 people. One will be the prisoner, one will be the Lady of Shadows, and okay, I think the next one leads to death, but I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look that up, and this is one continuous video, so I'm not even going to bother. Yeah, but basically, Rollins, the first person who comes along through the door is Eddie Dean. He's in 1980s America, and he basically is a heroin addict, and he's in his 20s, I think, 20s and 30s, not too old, but he's gone through a lot of crap, and part of his drug addiction is due to his brother Henry, who just died because of a heroin overdose before he came into Rollins' world. But Eddie Dean, when he comes into Rollins' world, he's forced to sober up and basically clean himself up if he's hoping to turn on, like, to keep going towards his destiny, which the Dark Tower is pretty much his destiny. So Rollins can move on to the second door. The second door, oh, I forgot one key part of this whole book. In the beginning, Rollins he wakes up on a desert 7 hours after he finds the Man in Black, and he is faced with a choice. He could stay here and die, or okay, I'm getting really tongue-tied here. At the beginning of the next book, 7 hours after he finds the Man in Black, he wakes up and these gigantic lobsterosities as he calls them, or as the narrator calls them, which there's not really a narrator. The third person calls them lobsterosities. They're basically these gigantic lobsters, and they bite his two of his fingers off of his right hand, and he's a gunslinger, so those fingers that he needs are not there anymore, and he's not going to be able to use his right hand. And basically that's like taking a singer or like some vocally talented person and like cutting their voice box. Yeah, or at least cutting it in half, because now all he can use is the left hand for gunslinger. Yeah, but yeah, that's really bad for Roland, and not only does it impair him, it starts an infection that goes for the entire book. Yes, the entire book. He's battling a huge infection that really gets really close to killing him. But when he finds Eddie, he brings him through, sobers him up, and Eddie, he's like, him and Rollins, they go to the next door, and the next door, the Lady of Shadows, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, she turns out to be, or they turn out to be, Odetta Holmes and Detta Walker. And those two people are one person, kind of. How do I explain this? Odetta Holmes is a schizophrenic because she, at an incident earlier in her childhood, she had mental damage. I think it was mental damage due to a brick hitting her in the head, which we'll get to in a second. But she's got problems, and her father was a really rich guy, and she inherited a lot of his money. So she disappears for like days at a time, 2 weeks at a time, out of nowhere, because Detta Walker, the evil dark side of her, is taking over as when the schizophrenic parts of her begin to rise. I don't know how to word this. Yeah, so she'll black out, kind of. She won't remember these things, but she knows there's something up there. But she's kind of in denial. And eventually, when she is brought over into Rollins' world, Rollins comes up with an idea to fuse her personality together. And there's an incident way later in the book that goes over that. But basically, the third door, throughout there, it's Odetta and Detta emerge. Detta is very bad. Very fiery, very so basically they make their way to the third door, and the third door turns out to lead to a man named Jack Morse. And Jack Morse, he's a twisted guy. When Odetta was younger, a little girl, he was the one who dropped the brick on her head, hoping to kill her, but just doing it for the heck of it. And years later, Odetta, he pushed her into a subway and she lost her legs because of that. That's why she's in a wheelchair, obviously. I think I forgot to mention that, actually. I'm pretty sorry about that. But yeah, Jack Moore, very twisted guy. But Rollin ends up getting him killed through that, and that's where the death part of that leads in there. So basically, on from there, Odetta and Detta become fused, and they turn into a person named Susanna, and Susanna Dean, because Eddie falls in love with her, and she loves him back, like Susanna loves him back. Susanna's the new fused personality. It's a little bit of Detta and a little bit of Odetta. The evilness, if that's even a word, of Detta was taken out, and the gentleness of Odetta was left out. So it was this fiery, complex person named Susanna that was left over afterwards. Oh, this video's getting really long. I'll try and cut this as short as possible. I'd give Dark Tower Part 2 4 out of 5 stars. It's an amazing book, and it's good. It's just a decent read that kept me interested through the whole thing. The entire thing was interesting. So they end up moving forward. Eddie, Susanna now, and Rollins move on. He's having less problems with the infections. It's just going well now. Well, if there is such thing as well on their journey to the Dark Tower. But yeah, that moves on into the third book, which I am working on now. But I can't promise anything because my summary's packed. So, I apologize for any large pauses anymore that would spot my videos. I really do apologize for all this stuff, but there's really nothing I can do. I'm actually lucky to be getting this out to you guys today. I'm really sorry for the unedited, uncut. It's 12 minutes long now. But yes, I really don't mean to make my videos so long. So inconstant. I'll post 10 videos one week, and then it'll be 3 months before you guys hear from me. So just leave your feedback below. Take a look at my blog. I haven't really updated that lately. I might be getting on that tonight. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Rate, subscribe, and comment. Thank you very much. Have a great day, guys. This is MS41756, or 576, whichever you prefer. Out.